Okay, let's open the After Effects software. As usual, we can exit from this window. I will enlarge the software window. Now let's click on Defaults so that we can all see the same panel layouts. And now, let's create our first composition. We will call it Downloader Animation. We will work in a square format of 1080 by 1080 pixels. This time, we will work at 60 frames per second. The duration of the composition will be 10 seconds. Finally, we will select a gray background color and click OK here. Now, let's bring back the project panel. If you don't see it from here, then just click on the arrows and choose Project. Now, let's save the project. Let's find the folder we opened for the lesson, go into the AE folder, and name the project Animation for Portfolio. We have no problem with the file name being different from the name of the first composition we created. Now let's import our color palette into the project. Double-click on the gray area in the project panel. Now we can find the folder we created for the lesson and go into the Assets folder. Let's select the color palette and click Import. Let's drag the layer into the composition, press S, and adjust the size of this layer to 30. We'll place it here, and to avoid it getting in the way, we can lock the layer and hide it from the panel. For those who don't see the Shy function icon, you can click here. Let's mark the layer as a hidden layer and hide it by clicking the icon located here. Now let's start creating the large circle on which the smaller spheres will move. To do this, we'll press and hold the rectangle tool, then select the ellipse tool. Let's turn off the fill and color the stroke black from our palette. For now, we'll change the stroke weight to 10. Of course, we can change this later. Okay, let's create the circle while holding down the Shift key, at about this size. Now let's center the circle to the composition center using the Control-Home shortcut. Now let's increase the stroke weight. We'll change it to 30. Now we can go back to the Selection tool, so let's press V and change the name of this layer to Stroke. We can close the layer and lock it because we won't touch it anytime soon. Now let's create the first small sphere. Let's select the Ellipse tool, and this time we'll turn on the fill. We'll color it blue and turn off the stroke. Now let's zoom in a bit to the large circle and try to create the small sphere with the same size as the stroke weight of the large circle. Something like this. Let's press V to return to the Selection tool and change the name of the layer to Sphere 1. If this circle doesn't come out at the right size, you can press S to scale it down. I will not change the size, so I'll press Ctrl Z. Okay, let's return the screen to fit. Now let's animate the sphere. So it will move to the big circle's form like this. Okay, let's get closer. Press the spacebar, hold it, and drag the screen down to see the top part of the screen. Press the apostrophe key to open the grid. Now let's place the sphere here and use the Align tool to center it in the composition. Get a little closer and move the circle here. And now, to make the sphere move, we will create keyframes for the position parameter. So let's select the layer and press P. At the beginning of the animation, we know that the sphere needs to be in the position it is currently in. So let's create the first keyframe at second 0. And at second 1, let's move the sphere here. To place it exactly in the center of the composition, we'll use Align. And now at second 2, we'll move the sphere here. Again, we'll use Align to center it in the composition. Now let's get a little closer and move the sphere slightly to the left. Alright, let's move on. So, now at second 3, let's move the sphere here. And with a line, we'll position it exactly in the center of the composition. We can lower the sphere a little. And now at second 4, we want the sphere to return to its original position. To do this, we can copy the first keyframes and paste them here. Let's see how it looks. So obviously it doesn't look very good because the path we created for the sphere animation is straight and not rounded. Let's see how we can round the path of this animation. First, let's go to the point on the timeline where the sphere is not on any of the keyframes so we can see all the points of the path. Now, to round the corners, we need to use a tool called Convert Vertex Tool. Let's long press on the pen tool and here it is. We can choose the tool from here or use a shortcut. Let's do it using the shortcut. Let's say we didn't choose the pen tool and we're using the selection tool. All we have to do is select one of the points. Hold down the Ctrl and Alt keys, and then click the point once. And now this point has become rounded. With the handles we have now, we will control the curve of the corner. We'll do this again in a moment. Okay, so for now, let's also select this point. Hold down the Ctrl and Alt keys, and click this point once. Now let's drag this handle to the right while holding down the Shift key to move the handle in a straight line. Let's do it on this side too. Let's do it here as well. We can press Alt and the apostrophe key to bring out the proportional grid. That way, we can see that we move the handles relatively accurately. And besides that, we can always check how it looks while in motion. I see that in certain parts the sphere is deviating from its path. For this, we will continue and arrange its path. In the meantime, let's turn off this grid. Let's press Alt and the apostrophe key. Now let's get a little closer and see how we can fix it. Okay, so at this point, the sphere is already starting to deviate from its path, so let's grab this handle and adjust it. If we can't adjust the path properly with one handle, we can also make this point rounded and navigate the curve with its handles. So let's select it, hold Ctrl and Alt, and click on this point once. Now we have an additional handle that we can control. Let's do the same on this side. So let's select it, hold Ctrl and Alt, and click on this point once. But as you can see, we didn't get a handle like before. That's because there are 2 points, one on top of the other. In the meantime, we can move this point here. Let's make it a regular point and not rounded. Let's hold Ctrl and Alt and click on it once. Now let's select this point and make it rounded. And let's adjust it together with this point. And most importantly, when we're done, we need to return this point exactly to its original position. This way we avoid jumps in the animation loop we'll create soon. Okay, let's set the screen to fit. Let's stand here with the time indicator and shorten the work area here using the N key. Now let's see the animation playing in a loop. I see there's a little problem here. We can zoom in and rearrange the handles. Now it looks great. And we can move on. Now I want to shrink the sphere a bit. So let's get a little closer. Select the layer. Press S. And let's shrink it to 85. This way, the sphere will always appear within the circle's path. Okay, so after we've fixed the path of the small sphere, let's improve its animation. We can close this layer, set the preview screen to fit, and move on to the next part.